This Joel Schumacher film was named the worst movie ever made by Empire Magazine and certified rotten by Rotten Tomatoes. Stick around and we'll explore just why Batman and Robin was a cosmic disaster.
And welcome to the Cosmic Disaster Show, everyone. I'm Tommy D. Radio Bishi, all right?
Yes.
Okay. So welcome to the Cosmic Disaster Show. I'm Tommy D, along with Radio Bish.
What's up?
Got Jay Quellen. You're not.
Oh, it's a podcast. I'm supposed to talk,
You should
right?
say so. People.
What's up?
They can't
Yeah,
see. They
you have
can't
to
see
say
you
something.
waving. So, and of course, from the Outer Rim territory of Boston, we've got the one and only Mr. Daddy Louie.
Hello, children.
All right. So I should have been put because I have the buttons to where I can like show everybody individually, and I didn't push any of those. But it's a podcast,
Let's go get chicken nuggies.
so it doesn't
all
matter.
our faces all the
Chicken nugget.
time.
So
The
this
all
week, of
face,
course,
all
we
the
are going to be
time
talking
show.
about what is arguably the very best Batman film of all time. Jackie doesn't think so.
No, it's the
but-
Cosmic Disaster Show, Tommy.
Oh
We're
yeah,
supposed to talk about bad stuff.
yeah, you're right. All right, so well then, Jackie, take it away.
The 1997 film Batman and Robin was the fourth and final installment of Warner Brothers' initial Batman film series, the only one of the four to have no involvement from Tim Burton. For many reasons, including the film being fast-tracked to capitalize on the success of Batman Forever, it received very negative reviews, and sometimes ranks among the worst films ever made. Maybe that's why you don't set the release date before you even start filming. Despite the fact that over 20 years later, IMDb still ranks it as number 71 in the bottom 100 list, some still have a fondness for the flick, but not many know the nightmares that happen behind the scenes. To this date, this is the only live-action film appearance of Batgirl thanks to Alicia Silverstone. Unfortunately, though, Batman and Robin made her stop loving acting for a very long time, because this beautiful 20-year-old girl was actually body-shamed by a storyboard artist, and of course subject to an intense level of scrutiny by media, fans, and crew.
As if.
Mr. Freeze, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, wore a giant, silver, flammable Transformer-like costume that included an LED light that he had to wear in his mouth for close-ups. His makeup artist revealed that as soon as Arnold's saliva would creep into the seams of the thing, battery acid would start leaking into his mouth. I guess that's part of the reason he got paid $1 million a day on set. And did you notice that he got top billing over George Clooney? You know, George only took the role as a favor to director Joel Schumacher when Val Kilmer dropped out last second. And if you thought Freeze's suit was bad, this 90-pound batsuit was so difficult to get in and out of, and they spent so many hours on set that George Clooney actually peed his pants a few times.
This is Soccer Boy!
Oh, and also, nipples.
And also nipples.
Man, whoever that was never shuts up.
Jeez.
I didn't hear that, so
Yeah, I know you didn't hear it because we don't have the audio set up right, and it's. Come on.
We don't have that kind of technology. What do you think it is,
I don't know
2020?
what she said. I don't know what she said.
Well, she said a bunch of stuff
I'm just
about
kidding.
Batman and
I'm
Robin,
kidding.
a film that you've seen once or twice. So
Yes,
let's
and
talk
how
about this
awful it is.
stinker. But is it really awful? I mean, is it really awful? Is it that bad? I mean, it's
No.
across the board. It is hated by so very many people. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think it's just, it's the type of movie that you need to just have fun with. You can't take it. You need to understand that it's everything about the movie that's over the top and stupid. Not stupid. I shouldn't say stupid, but everything that is ridiculed and everything that people don't like about it, it was all done intentionally. everything is just so ridiculously like, the one scene that you always refer to with the lights during the gala, the auction, right?
Yep, I love it.
That was done on
I love it.
purpose.
Of course
and
it
if you
was.
watch it and you appreciate it, it's super corny, but that's the fun of it, right?
Mhm.
You wouldn't see that in any modern day, interpretation of the Dark Knight. You wouldn't see that in any of Christopher Nolan's movies,
No.
but that's because those Batmans were made to be more serious, to be
Right.
like, oh shit, this could really happen. Whereas Batman and Robin was like, we're going to turn the corny up to 11 and
That's kitsch.
just
Yeah.
have fun with it. And that's really what it was. And it
Yeah.
started with Batman. Was it Batman Forever? Yeah, it kind of started with Batman Forever, because that was that was like when they cranked the corny up to like 10, and then Joel Schumacher was like, no, we're gonna crank that crap up to like 15.
Right, but Batman Forever had Tim Burton, so there was that level of taste, and then he was removed, and then it was like Joel Schumacher. I'm just kidding.
I thought it was bright and beautiful. I love it. I mean, I like all the Batman movies, but that one for me was just like, it seemed so like a big theatrical
thing
version.
Yeah.
It really was. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
I have a theory, actually.
Your theory? Yes.
I have a theory. Well, okay. So have you guys seen the 1966 Adam West Batman?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I think it was supposed to be kind of a throwback to that, because Joel Schumacher was born in 1939. So he was 27 when that came out.
Sure.
Okay,
like,
okay.
I feel like that's nostalgia. I feel like he probably loved that and wanted to make it kind of campy 60s whatever, combined with
yeah, of course.
It's also very 90s.
Oh.
It's like
yeah,
it is.
It's Alicia Silverstone, Chris
Silverstone, yeah,
Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's so 90s and so 60s at the same time. And I actually found a quote too by one of the actors on the set that Joel would like be on a crane with a megaphone, and before every single shot he would go, "Remember, everybody, this is a cartoon."
Really?
Yes.
Well, then there
I
you
feel
have
like
it.
it's very.
That
I
explains
feel like
it.
it's very comic book.
Absolutely.
yeah. Like bang.
but fun comic book, not like serious and dark comic book.
Right.
Right.
But my very favorite line, I think it was in Batman Forever, was when Chris O'Donnell was like, "Holy rusted metal, Batman."
Because they were standing on holy rusted metal. And
right.
That is proof right there that they were throwing that back. They were sending a nod to the Adam West series, because it was just so fun,
Batman.
So campy. But with Batman and Robin, with this particular film, I feel bad because I really think that it could have been great. I think that it could have been 100% phenomenal. A lot of people, like we talked about, it's on everybody's list of the worst films of all time. But when you look at some of those lists, I mean, I don't know if Batman and Robin deserves to be on that list, because there's some pretty awful fucking movies out there that Batman and Robin share the list. And you really can't point at any one person for making that movie bad. There were just so many things going on. It was a perfect storm. It was a perfect storm of fuckery, basically. Radio Beast, you have something to say on that?
I just like I said, like Jackie said, it's more of the comic book style. So that, that pow, bang, but that's in the comic books, they just brought it to life. And it reminded me of a disco. Like a 60s freaking disco, most of the scenes.
I think that they literally had a disco ball in the hood of the Batmobile.
Oh my God, I'd have to rewatch it. That would be fantastic.
I
don't remember.
No, there was no disco ball on the hood.
There should have been, though.
Look at it, though. It's like flashing light
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's
for real.
But like every scene was like with all those lights in the back, and it all looked like something, like freaking icicles.
It was all spectacle. Yeah.
Yes, it was wonderful. I thought it was a great movie. I mean, I know they don't love it, like hardcore fans, I guess.
What's not to love? What's
Again,
not to love?
It's a movie. It's not real, so.
I even like the nipples.
It's like
I even like the nipples.
Just
I
saying.
don't have a problem with the nipples because obviously it
That's
was
the best scene.
It's the suit up. The suit
And the
up
butt.
scene.
On.
The butt. Yeah, you get
Oh, yeah, the butt.
and
Bat
nipples
butt.
and
fat butt.
They all have
it
bat
was-
butts.
They all
that's
have
like
bat
literally the
fantastic.
opening credit is like butt close up, nipples.
Right. So it sets the tone for the movie, so you already know what's going to happen before it happens. So why get upset about it? But
Right.
there's
It's supposed to be fun.
There's a whole bunch of stuff out there too about like the homoerotic undertones of Batman and Robin.
Okay.
oh well, yeah. I mean,
and George,
look at the on Saturday Night Live, the ambiguously gay duo.
the ambiguously gay duo.
I mean, clearly that was modeled after Batman and Robin because there's always been some things with Batman and Robin going on where you're just like, geez, Bruce, come on. Why does it always have to be like a little boy? Eventually, he does start going after little girls as well to become Robins. But, I mean, but it's still, I get it. You're wanting to be a mentor. You know, you need a ward, you know. Sure, I get it.
He's mentoring. That is
mentoring.
it. He's mentoring
Yeah.
children that need it.
But
sure.
it's like,
But why do you dress
it's
them
like,
up in
how
bright
did
colors too? And this has always been my biggest problem with you, Batman. My biggest problem with you. You are the Dark Knight.
Like, why is he dark and
Right.
everybody else is bright?
Right, you're fighting people with guns, and you're dressed up in gray and dark blue and black, and then you're going to take the kid and put that little motherfucker out there in, like, bright
Like the
yellow and
streetlight.
red and green.
yellow, red, and green.
Right.
Because he needs color in his life that makes him happy.
But
Makes
it also
So
Batman happy?
sad.
it makes
He's
him a
so sad
target.
and demented. He needs to look at the bright colors.
He's probably using the little
he needs
kids
them to be
as
the
bait.
distraction.
That's a good one, Louie.
That's exactly what it is. That's why he's in bright colors, because it's like, while you're over there
They're bait.
shooting at this brightly colored target, I'm over here creeping around, and I'm going to hit you with the battering.
Oh my god!
Okay,
Look
well,
over
perfect
there.
example, the Batman Robin movie. He goes off half cocked. Guess what? He was cocked. But so he was the distraction. I mean, granted, he almost froze and died, but still.
Yeah,
I don't
Robin was
understand
fucking up.
why the anatomical.
Right, Robin was fucking up. That's his fault.
Right. I don't understand why the anatomically correct suit caused all that kind of a ruckus, though. Like, he literally said, people don't make fun of, like, Greek god statues. Like, why
He's
do you
right.
care about nipples on this suit?
Well, because also,
problem?
I think
to be
Because there's
fair,
a lot of
ridiculous.
Because there's a lot of Karens out there. That's why.
well, there were no Karens in the 90s.
That's
They
why.
didn't happen then. No, but
Oh yes,
but
they were.
here's the
But
thing
it
about
was just
that.
Becky.
With Becky with the good hair. With the
It was Becky with the good hair.
Greek statues also don't wear capes and fight crime. So I think maybe that was the issue with the nipples.
You don't
So-
know what they do at night.
You're right. I mean,
Yeah.
that whole, what is it, a night
They
in the
might
museum?
come alive like the gargoyles.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
night
the
at the museum.
gargoyles.
Gargoyles come to life. What's up?
Ooh, maybe Greek gods and goddess statues are protectors of the nation.
There you go.
Duh.
They're not doing a very good job.
No,
Okay, well, it's not this nation.
So,
not well.
all right, so we talked about the fact that Batman and Robin is not a great movie, but I think for what it is, it sets out and to do exactly what it's supposed to do. It's a fun movie.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, if you're like a hardcore Chris Nolan fan, you're gonna hate Batman and Robin. You know, but I mean, because even some of the
But
comics are dark, of course. But there's a lot of Batman comics, that are really campy and goofy and silly.
Okay. Well, my thing is like, if you like the original Batman, you should have loved this movie. I mean, for God's sake, he had, what is it, shark spray and all kinds of things on his belt.
The
to
shark
repel stuff
shark
that made-
repellent bat spray. Yes.
Yes.
Definitely a
So
favorite.
if you like the classic Batman, why you have to like this movie, because it's
Didn't they?
basically the same stuff.
Yeah, they like dehydrated the United Nations meeting and
Yes.
like,
Yes. I mean, come on.
And then in this one, they had no idea Mr. Freeze was the villain, and they show up to this place and they like click their heels together and ice skates come out. Because, why not?
They're always
They
prepared.
just happen to have ice skates.
So bad.
Why was it bad? That is a perfect example of the kind of
Being
preparedness. That is the level of preparedness you want from a crime fighter. Period.
That is true.
And if you look at the old
Always be
60s,
prepared.
always be prepared. He's the Eagle Scout of Gotham. He should have been Eagle Man and not Batman.
I think if they needed like rollerblades, those would have came out too.
Yeah, it would have been 3 clicks. It would have been 3 clicks of the heels. Like,
Sure.
But
One, two,
also,
three.
if you look at the original series, it was so funny because in addition to everything being labeled, which I always thought was great, if you look in the Batcave,
awesome.
right? Look in the Batcave.
Right.
Everything is
Right.
labeled in the Batcave.
Laboratory,
There's a-
water.
Right.
Yeah.
There is a portable version of everything in the Batmobile. Like, doesn't matter what's in the Batcave,
Yeah.
there's a portable version of it in the motherfucking Batmobile.
Mhm.
And I absolutely love it. And that
And it's all labeled too.
it's all labeled.
Yeah.
It's all labeled. So
Yeah.
which
You
now
know
that
what that's called?
what's that?
You know what that's called? When it's everything's labeled?
What?
It's army proof.
Oh, come on.
Wow.
Man. That was rough.
Just saying.
That was rough.
It was rough, but it was funny.
So I just want to say for all of our Army personnel out there, we salute
They're
you.
fine.
And we thank you for your service. If you're in the Air Force or if you were in the Air Force, well, I don't know. I guess thanks for showing up to work and,
Yeah.
typing
You're
things
welcome.
and stuff, I suppose.
Typing
Maybe.
things, printing things out. Anyway,
All right, so back to
I'm
Batman.
just messing.
What
Wait, they're prepared. They have. Sorry.
but
Go ahead.
what could have happened to make that movie better, do you think? I mean, like, what could they have done obviously $1 million a day for Schwarzenegger. That kind
Oh
of
my God.
tapped into the budget a little bit, I think. But what could they
But
have
look
done?
at the guests though. Too, the secondary characters, like Coolio shows up for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
The freaking the lady Freeze's wife is a supermodel. She didn't have any
Yeah.
lines.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
Vendela in a jar, right?
Yeah.
So, and then Batman's girlfriend, she was there for like a scene and a half. Elle McPherson.
Elle McPherson. She was a supermodel at the time
Yep.
too, wasn't she?
Right.
Yeah.
The Arkham guards was it was a former Mr. Universe and Jesse Ventura.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right, Jesse.
Yeah.
Like there are so many cameos. How much did they pay these people for their 5 minutes of filming?
I don't know.
I think it was just fun.
Maybe they did it for free.
I think the movie had too much. I mean, taking all that stuff out. I mean, even if you don't care about that stuff, like I don't care about that stuff, so I thought the movie was fine. But I mean, I think that as far as like the story goes, I think they had too much going on because
Okay.
you look at the series as a whole, right? Because they wanted it to be a continuous series. So you have Batman, 1989 Batman. There was one villain, Joker. Then all of a sudden you started getting two villains,
Yeah.
right? So in the second movie, it was Catwoman and Penguin.
Yep.
And in the third movie, it was
Two-Face and Riddler.
Riddler and Two-Face.
Yep.
Now in this movie, you had 3 villains, right? Because you had Poison Ivy, Bane, and
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, but Bane.
Each one of them had their own individual. Each one of them had their own individual story. They had to introduce Bane. They had to introduce Poison Ivy. They had to introduce Freeze. Freeze and Poison Ivy both had their own agenda, so they had to explain that. And they both were trying to achieve 2 completely different things. You had Alfred get sick. You had Batman and Robin fighting against each other. You had Batgirl, who wasn't even like Barbara Gordon, how we know her. She's literally like
No
this
British accent.
blonde,
Alfred's niece or great
Alfred's
grand
niece.
niece.
From England.
From
Horrible.
England, yeah. No, she was just going to school
I
in
just
England.
think that, I think it was just too much. There was just in the story as a whole. I just think there was too much going on. So they didn't have time to focus on it. They didn't have time to develop it into a story that anybody was actually going to care about. Now, again,
Yeah.
I don't care. I just went in and it was a fun movie.
It's just
But
fun.
talking about making it a better film, like the 1989 Batman, like the Michelle Pfeiffer Batman, those were dark. Those were the
Right.
stories were deep. The villains were scary. They were crazy. And now here you've got not that.
Not that.
Oh, they were crazy.
They were crazy. I mean, but okay.
I guess.
And when we talk about Batman Returns, all I can think about is Danny DeVito as the Penguin. I'd like to teach her my French flipper trick. I'm just like,
Oh my God.
how did they get that in the
my
movie?
God.
How did they get that in the movie?
So good.
The French flipper trick, and it landed, and it was great. But
It was a different time then.
sure. But let's talk about Uma
PG-13
Thurman.
movies had nudity.
That's true. That is very true. That's very true. Uma Thurman, Poison Ivy.
What? I love her.
I mean, that's just.
I love her.
It was so completely over the top.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was just so. I mean, because the whole movie was over the top, but Uma's performance, her acting is just through the roof.
Okay.
I think
so-
she rocked.
I'll help you
Poison
grab
Ivy.
your rocks.
Yeah.
I mean that line,
my
that
God.
line alone. I'll help you grab your rocks. Come on. I mean, it's just. I love it. And, she's like, you didn't tell me you were married. It's just
Yeah.
such a good
But
movie.
how did you like her plant-loving save the world character before she got poisoned?
Well, she still loved.
I'm gonna
plants.
save the world. But then there's the whole when she and Batgirl are fighting, she's spouting out feminist stuff. Are you really trying to use your feminine wiles against while they're fighting?
and
Well,
I just like the part where the boys take the things
Rubber
off
lips.
their lips.
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh yeah, from kissing her.
Yeah.
Rubber lips.
so
rubber
They
lips.
were ready. They were prepared.
But he
Again,
hung out
fucking
2
rubber
inches from her mouth and for another whole minute. If she
Yeah.
really wanted to kill him, she could have just leaned back in.
Well,
But
that's
he just
true.
lingered
Yeah.
there with his
like,
unprotected lips.
rubber lips are immune to your charms. But there's and it you just reminded me of that scene where Poison Ivy and Batgirl are fighting, and she tells Batgirl, she's like, I'm a one-woman show before I pulled the plug or whatever.
Pulled you out. Pulled the plug.
Yeah. And I
I'm
love
ready to freeze.
when Batman plays that back for Mr. Freeze to see. It's the shot. It's like the film shot. It's not it wasn't filmed from Batman's perspective.
From the point of view.
Right, it
yeah.
wasn't filmed from Batman's, but he was, I think at the time he was hanging upside down, wrapped up in vines at the time.
Yes.
So, but when he shows Freeze, it's the shot from the film. They
Right.
just took that shot and superimposed it on his little bat recorder, whatever the fuck
Oh,
that
yeah.
was. And oh my God, I love it. I cannot. We need to do a special watch party for Batman and Robin.
Right.
Um,
We haven't had a movie night in a minute. Let's do it.
We haven't.
We should.
We need to do that. So
I think.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
No, go ahead.
The auction is hilarious. Just auctioning off. I mean, I know they do that for fundraisers,
Sure.
for real, but come on now.
That's why you're
Come
wearing your
on.
flowers. You're
Yeah.
ready. You're ready
And
to make
I'll
some money.
have the lovely
Yes.
Magnolia.
Magnolia.
The Miss
the thing
Magnolia.
For $1 million.
$1 million.
They were all trying to outbid each other, but for different women. You could all just pay the $10,000 and each get
Right.
your own.
Sure.
Why are you
Yeah.
trying to outbid the guy who wants a different girl?
But that's
Well,
there's so much in that movie, and that's the question you're
And the
going to ask. That's
Yeah, and
that's
the
thing
Batman
that-
credit card. Ting.
Never don't
Yeah,
leave Kate
I
without
forgot
it.
about the Batman credit card. I forgot
Don't
about
leave home
that.
with
I did too.
And
Oh my God.
love
what?
it.
Horrible.
What do you think Batman's credit limit is?
I think
I'm
it's
thinking it's,
unlimited.
unlimited.
It's unlimited. But he can only use it when he's in the suit. So I mean, when he's out, fighting crime, does he, whip it out to get some
Yeah.
chips or
Right,
soda or
exactly.
something
Do
like
you
that?
think Bruce Wayne ever got flagged for identity theft trying to slide that?
Oh God, I hope not.
It's not your card.
So I
It's not your card.
now, if they could have done something to make the movie better, should they have? Or is it just good being a cosmic disaster
No.
that it is? Just leave it alone. I mean,
No, I think it was certainly intentional the way that they did it, and I don't think. I think they would have to completely redo the movie in a different way in order to make it "quote unquote" better. I think it should stay a cosmic disaster.
There was
Yeah.
supposed
Because
to
it's
be
fun
Let it
that
stand
way.
alone. Let it stand alone.
agreed.
It was
Yeah.
doing so well that there was supposed to be a sequel that got canceled. It was called Batman Unchained.
Ooh, that
That-
sounds hardcore.
Okay, that would have been interesting.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
completely canceled after it came out and everybody hated it, but there was something in the works, and George Clooney vowed to never reprise his role. But it was actually going to feature, it was still going to have Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, but it was going to feature Coolio as Scarecrow.
Actually, he might make a good Scarecrow.
Yeah, no.
And Jack Nicholson was going to reprise
He
the
might.
Joker in it.
He might.
Jack
Come on.
Nicholson is
He's
the
already got the
Joker.
beard.
I-
Who's the
I don't know.
It was supposed Jack Nicholson was
Nicholson.
going to come back. Yeah.
okay.
I don't. Oh, Jackie, you reached out to the cast of Batman and Robin, and
did.
you actually got
Well, to their managers.
sure, but you got a response.
I did.
Ooh, what'd they say?
Immediately, within like 2 minutes, I got an email back from George Clooney's publicist. I was so excited to buy this, but it said 2 words: polite decline.
That is jacked up.
I loved it.
That's great.
I was
We
so
didn't get
excited.
ignored, right? It wasn't,
No,
That's true.
it's the only
That's
one that
true.
responded, and it was
Wow.
within like 2 minutes. Not even kidding.
Polite decline.
Polite decline.
Maybe that should be the
Well,
new
at least
name
they
of
were
the
nice
show.
about it.
Maybe that should be the name of our show, Polite Decline.
Polite
That's-
decline.
Polite decline.
We're not very polite though. We're not
No.
very polite.
So I read something that I think you guys don't know, and I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
Before Arnold Schwarzenegger was cast as Mr. Freeze, there was talk of it being Patrick Stewart. What do you think about that? How would he have been
As Mr.
Mr.
Freeze?
Yes!
No.
Were they just trying
That
to
would-
get
I mean-
like the most famous bald dude they could?
Maybe they were trying to get it because Mr. Freeze in the comic books is really tall and thin, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He is.
Think about it.
Right?
Think about it.
Maybe
Even
that's why.
not
I
just
can't see him doing that.
not just in the comics,
No.
but in the original TV series, in the Adam West TV series, he was
Mhm.
Freeze was very theatrical. He was,
Okay.
and in the animated series, he was also very theatrical and very creepy, tall, slender build.
Right.
Man, I think Patrick Stewart would have fucking nailed it, actually.
You think?
Oh,
It would have been a
yeah.
completely different movie, though,
That's
Completely
I was
different.
gonna
which is
say.
fine.
It could not be that movie. It would have
No.
to be a darker movie, I think.
Right.
It would have to be a dark Mr. Freeze. I think he would do a great dark
But how
Mr.
cool
Freeze.
would that be? For real.
To ha- Yeah. If he
would be
played it
cool.
in one of the new movies or something, maybe.
Yeah. But to have like 1997 Patrick Stewart playing a dark Mr. Freeze.
That would have been awesome.
And what was Patrick Stewart
I don't know.
doing?
I can't look at Patrick Stewart playing anything other than Picard.
Well,
Like, I
No,
just
I've
can't.
seen
Professor
I've seen
Xavier.
him. I mean, he's I mean,
Professor
yeah,
Xavier.
yeah, the professor.
but what was he doing in
And I
'97?
liked him in that too.
Didn't he do
Probably
like
some
Robin Hood
theater.
Men in Tights? Wasn't
did-
he in that?
He was in Dune, which
Oh
is
my
pretty
God,
much
I
the
don't
same
know.
thing.
We'd
No,
have to
Dune was a
look it
really
up.
good movie. But what was he? When did Next Gen come out?
I'm looking.
Yeah, when did that come out? Because I want to say that was like early '90s, maybe early to mid '90s. So in '97, I think he may have still been doing Next Gen, possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I
it
don't
wouldn't.
remember the year.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a script of
It started
entirely
in
one-liners.
'87.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, then in
Yeah,
'97 it only ran
that sounds
seven.
right.
It only ran 7 seasons. So by 90.
But he was doing the movies still. They were still making the movies.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
But as a Dark Mr. Freeze, I think he would have been.
Yeah, I don't think it would have
he
worked
would've done a great
campy.
job.
I don't think that.
No, not.
Couldn't have
he
pulled
is
off
not
the
a campy
one-liners.
guy.
No,
Well-
he's not
So
that
he
guy.
did the voice.
No.
He did a voice in The Page Master in '94. First Contact was in '96.
Okay.
And Moby Dick was in '98. He did a TV miniseries of Moby Dick.
Interesting.
I
Of
had
course he
no
did.
idea.
Of course he did.
But he's very theatrical.
Yeah, he
I mean-
plays Captain Ahab.
Oh, I'd
Okay.
actually like to see that.
Yeah, I think I have seen it, and it's very good. And then
okay.
Insurrection was in '98.
Yep. But
So
he
he
does.
was still
do-
making Star Trek movies.
Yep.
No, but didn't he do? Didn't he play Mr. Scrooge?
Yes,
In the
he did.
Muppet Christmas Carol.
No, A Christmas Carol.
No.
There
No,
was a
that
TV
was-
movie
never mind.
in '99.
He did, right? That okay.
Yeah, he was
He played
Scrooge.
Scrooge.
I had
Sorry,
to think,
that
and
was-
that was excellent.
It
And
was.
then X-Men was in 2000.
Oh, okay.
That was the first X-Men
He
movie.
stays busy. That's
Yeah,
our time.
seriously.
That's our time. Great show, everybody. So coming up next, we are good. Jackie, you okay? What? Yeah, everything okay?
Look what I can do.
Look what I can do. All right, so coming up next, we are going to head into the Inner Circle, and this is an exclusive part of the show just for our beloved and valued Patroni. So if you'd like to be a member of the Inner Circle, all you have to do is head on over to our Patreon account, and that is www.patreon.com/Circle of Nerds, and for a small pittance, you can join the Inner Circle. And are you showing us your boobs or the T-shirt, or both?
My
The
T-shirt. A
T-shirt.
Circle of Nerds
Okay.
T-shirt.
Yes. So you can, and that helps us out. That helps us to pay for a couple things. As you can probably tell, Radio Beach has a wicked addiction to prescription glasses. So we've got to make sure that she stays on. It's a 30 Rock thing. You wouldn't understand. No, I know you.
I do understand.
I know you do. I know. All right. So anyway, we're gonna head on over into the Inner Circle now, where we will be discussing the very best Batman villains that are not the Joker. So, and that's kind of what we're doing on the Cosmic Disaster Show. We're going to talk about the bad stuff, and then on the Inner Circle, we're going to talk about some of our favorite things. So, coming up next on your Inner Circle for our beloved Patroni, which is most of us. We are all Patroni. We're going to be talking about...
My credit card got declined today. That $5.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, so then there's just 4 of us now. So
For real?
That's okay.
Really?
So, best Batman villains coming up next for the Patroni. So please stick around. Don't go away. And for everyone else, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your support. Make sure you do head on over to YouTube and subscribe or follow us wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you subscribe because it helps us out, and we appreciate it.
But stay 6 feet away.
And stay 6 feet away and wear your fucking mask. So from all of us
Wear
here
mask.
at the Circle of Nerds, thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. And as always, remember, if no one does anything nice for you, do something nice to yourself, and we'll see you next week. Bye.